Finally, Ravens fan, the mystery surrounding Diontae Johnson has been revealed. After days of silence and speculation, Coach John Harbaugh finally spoke out about the wide receiver situation. But will Harbaugh's words clear everything up, or does the story still have many chapters to be written? What does he really think about Johnson's behavior and the impact this situation could have on the team's future? In this video, we'll cover everything you need to know and analyze how this could affect the Ravens in the coming weeks. Don't miss out, because the answers you've been waiting for are closer than you think. Go Ravens! Imagine the impact on a team when a player simply decides he won't step onto the field. That's exactly what happened with Diontae Johnson last week. He refused to play against the Eagles, and the Ravens' response was swift, an immediate suspension. It was a firm decision, showing that the team will not tolerate such behavior, especially at such a crucial point in the season. But what really stood out was Coach John Harbaugh's stance. During the press conference, Harbaugh was direct, stating that he had nothing more to add beyond what had already been said in the official statement from General Manager Eric DeCosta. He made it clear that the focus now is on the game against the Giants, and that this situation will be resolved over time. Despite this, questions remained about Johnson's future on the team and how he would be reintegrated after this episode. Harbaugh chose not to go into further details, but his words suggested that the matter is far from being resolved. This situation raises an important question. How will the Ravens maintain balance within the roster and ensure that the focus remains on performance on the field? The answer might lie in Eric DeCosta's official statement, which reinforces the team's stance against behavior like Johnson's. Let's understand how this statement was essential in demonstrating the team's values. Eric DeCosta, the Ravens general manager, wasted no time when he decided to suspend Diontae Johnson. In a direct statement, he explained that the player's refusal to participate in the game against the Eagles was the main reason behind the suspension. This decision was a clear example of how the organization prioritizes discipline and commitment above all else. For the Ravens, allowing a player to show a lack of interest in contributing to the team is unacceptable, regardless of their position or importance. More than just a disciplinary action, the statement showed how much the Ravens' leadership cares about protecting team unity. By avoiding lengthy explanations or speculation, DeCosta allowed the team to focus on what really matters: performance on the field. Additionally, this stance sends a direct message to everyone in the locker room. Respect for the team's decisions and full dedication are non-negotiable for wearing the Ravens jersey. Still, the suspension raises questions about Johnson's future. For a player who joined recently and hasn't yet proven himself, this situation might be a point of no return. Will he be able to regain the team's trust and prove himself? To better understand, we need to analyze what Johnson has done or failed to do since joining them. When Diontae Johnson was traded from the Panthers to the Ravens, the expectation was that he would reinforce the offense and provide new options for Lamar Jackson. But since his arrival, the opposite has happened. In 4 games, Johnson managed just 1 reception, which is surprisingly low for a wide receiver who was supposed to help relieve the aerial attack. With such modest numbers, he ended up sitting on the bench while other receivers took the spotlight. This lack of impact on the field started raising doubts about Johnson's usefulness to the team. The roster already includes key players like Zay Flowers and Odell Beckham Jr., who have been delivering more results. In this context, Johnson couldn't find his space, and the incident against the Eagles only aggravated the perception that he's not committed enough to help the Ravens in the long run. For a player who was brought in with high expectations, the disappointment grew quickly. The suspension now complicates his situation even further. With no confidence from the coaching staff and little margin for error, Johnson is at a critical point in his time with the Ravens. He will have to work twice as hard to win back the team and show that he can still be useful. But how will this affect the team's offensive dynamics? Let's understand what this means for the upcoming games. Well, we've passed the halfway point of the video, but I noticed you haven't left your like yet. It's very important for YouTube to keep recommending my content to you, so I can keep bringing more videos for you. So, go ahead and leave that like, it's free. Thanks. Let's keep going. Diontae Johnson's suspension certainly impacts the Ravens roster, both on and off the field. From a sporting perspective, Johnson's absence isn't something that causes an immediate loss, given his below-expectation performance so far. However, the fact that he has been removed from the team might affect the morale of some players. The Ravens locker room has always valued unity, and actions like Johnson's can put that cohesion to the test. Even though the suspension was necessary, it serves as a reminder that discipline is vital for everyone, without exception. Furthermore, this situation could create an opportunity for other players to step up. With Johnson out of action, the chances for other receivers to get more playing time increase. which could be a golden opportunity for those looking to solidify their position on the roster. Players like Tylan Wallace or Odell Beckham Jr. might get more chances to shine. For the coaching staff, the focus will now be on evaluating these alternatives and seeing who can contribute the most in the coming weeks. Ultimately, Johnson's suspension can serve as a wake-up call for the entire roster, reminding them of the importance of commitment and responsibility. It also reflects how the team needs to be attentive to any behavior that could disrupt harmony and performance. Now, the crucial point will be to see how the Ravens' offense performs without it. Will Johnson's absence be felt, or will the team move on? Let's explore the impact of this on the game against the Giants. The game against the Giants will be a great opportunity for the Ravens to test the resilience of the roster after Diontae Johnson's suspension. Although the wide receiver hasn't shown much on the field, the situation now requires the Ravens to play even more collectively and solid without relying on a single play. With Johnson out, the expectation is that Lamar Jackson will focus even more on his other offensive options, like Zay Flowers and Odell Beckham Jr., who have shown more consistency in recent weeks. Johnson's absence might even force the team to play more strategic, looking to explore all attacking options. The Giants' defense, which has been one of the toughest this season, won't make things easy for the Ravens. In order for the team to continue to stand out, all sectors will need to make an extra effort, especially in covering the gap left by Johnson. The responsibility to lead the team in such a crucial game will fall even more on veterans like Lamar Jackson and Marcus. The absence of a player like Johnson can't be seen as an excuse. On the contrary, it places even more pressure on the other players to do their job and ensure the victory is achieved. This game against the Giants is not just about the game's strategy, but also about how the team will handle adversity off the field. Johnson's situation, with all its repercussions, will serve as a test for the Ravens' mentality. They need to prove they can overcome any challenge, whether it's on or off the field, and stay focused on their ultimate goal. The performance against the Giants will give us a clear view of how the Ravens handle adversity and if the team is what it takes to move forward in the season. After the suspension and lack of impact on the field, Diontae Johnson's future with the Ravens is becoming increasingly uncertain. The franchise has shown that it doesn't hesitate to take drastic measures when a player is not aligned with the team's values. Johnson's suspension reflects this, and he will have to do much more than just improve his on-field performance to regain the coaching staff's and team's trust. Johnson needs to prove that he is fully committed to the team, not just by playing well, but also by showing his dedication during practice and in his behavior off the field. However, for this to happen, he will need an opportunity to redeem himself. The trade market could be an option, especially considering that the Ravens may no longer see value in keeping a player who has not been productive and has shown off-field issues. Johnson's situation is complicated because he arrived with high expectations and hasn't delivered. Even if he returns to the field after the suspension, the pressure will be immense for him to prove he can still contribute. Diontae Johnson's future, therefore, will depend on his ability to overcome this internal crisis and his performance in the upcoming games if he gets another chance. If he fails to regain the coaching staff's and team's trust, his time with the Ravens could be very short. Only time will tell whether he can overcome this difficult phase, or if his story with the Ravens will come to an end sooner than expected. Now that you're up to date on everything Harbaugh said about Diontae Johnson and what it means for the Ravens, it's hard not to be curious about the next steps. Will Johnson be able to regain the team's trust, or is his time with the Ravens coming to an end? The impact of this decision could be huge, and we'll be keeping an eye on every move. So, what do you think? Do you think Johnson has what it takes to redeem himself, or is it time for the Ravens to move on without it? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on all the important news about the team.